So X-Men Origins Wolverine. I'm not a fan of the retcon where Sabretooth and Wolverine are brothers, but I do have to admit it is pretty awesome seeing them go through all these wars back to back, uh, side by side. I thought that was pretty epic. But when we get into, after the whole war thing, we see Sabretooth start to become more savage and stuff. I also thought that part was pretty cool. It started to accurately predict the savage nature of the character. And, I don't like the fucking the caveman looking version that they used in the X-Men film. And I really liked his actor. I liked him when he played Cotton Weary. He's pretty great all around. He's a pretty great actor, and he looks much better than the Sabretooth one. It's still not the Sabretooth I would go with. I want classic big bulky Sabretooth with the big old mane on him. Like I would have cast Sid Vicious to play Sabretooth, but this guy does a fair enough job. He doesn't come off huge and intimidating though. He does come off savage. I'll give him that. But after all that, we get into the team up aspect of it where, they try to execute the both of them and that doesn't work out. So they bring in Stryker, who decides to take him for a mutant team. And I don't know if most of these mutants actually exist in the comics. I'm really not familiar with them, or at least this depiction of them. Like, I'm maybe familiar with these mutants by appearance, but the appearance may be drastically off from who they actually are in the comic books. So I'm familiar with Deadpool, and I'm familiar with the guy they have as Blob. I don't like. You think Ryan Reynolds? Yeah, match made in heaven, right? And sure, yeah, that's how that plays out in the Deadpool movie. But here, it's just Jesus Christ. The decisions made regarding Wade Wilson, it's just first he's underused, and then by the time you see him again, his mouth sewed shut, and he's just got all kinds of powers that he shouldn't have. The Cyclops optic blast, the teleportation he should have, and swords he should have. They shouldn't be coming out of his arms like Wolverine's claws. But terrible, terrible depiction of the character. The Merc with the mouth. Who thought that? Oh, that's a great twist. The Merc with the mouth. We'd really surprise audience if we sewed his mouth shut. Like, come on, man. Come on, get the hell out of here. Go back to whatever the hell you were doing before. Don't do this. Uh, that Blob too. Like we get him early in the film. He's like this muscular, fit dude, and then later in the film, he's fat. He's gone downhill, and we get a boxing match with him, and then we see like Sabretooth a couple of moments later in the film, and he's like, "Oh, I killed him." Or, what 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 just happened? Why? I get the feeling that these, especially these early X-Men films, it's like their agenda or their goal to just fit as many X-Men as they can on screen, as many X-Men characters as they can on screen. Uh, just for the like, oh, that would be really cool if we included them and just gave that nod to the audience. They're like, well, I don't really have a position or a real use for this character, so what do I do with them afterward? Oh, just kill him off. It don't matter. He's unimportant as long as we give that nod to like the comic book fans or whatever. They're they'll get it. They'll appreciate it. No, we won't. Okay, don't give us Deadpool and give us Blob and just kill them off. It's just like, oh hey, they were here and that's what you get. Some people may appreciate that. Like some people will appreciate whatever live action they can get of comic book characters. But me, our video game characters. But me, I'm not like that. I don't. I you I'm you cannot appeal to me by behaving that way. It's not gonna happen. Like you think you think I'm that that thirsty for fucking live action that I'm just gonna forget everything about the character? Hell no. But anyways, after we get this whole little team up thing, which Agent Zero, a character I'm not familiar with, they have these kind of action scenes where they're just not really cool. I did like seeing the dude that played Charlie from Lost in here, but they have these characters like Wade Wilson blocking bullets with his swords, and this Agent Zero dude like jumping over incredibly high and shooting people with his guns, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. I didn't buy it. Found it like it was trying way too hard, and then we get in the thing where they're going too far, so Wolverine decides to split, and they're like, "We can't just let the Sabretooth's like, we can't just let you walk away from the team." But they did. It's like six years later or whatever, and everybody's walked away from the team. No consequences, no repercussions. Wolverine's dating Silver Fox, and I felt like they should have casted someone that was more apparently Native American, because if I believe correctly, that Silver Fox is pretty Native American. But in here, they take a different direction. They do hit some of the comic book beats or whatever, where Sabretooth ki- kills her, or he thinks Sabretooth kills her, and she's left for dead, but she's not really dead. Uh, Though in the comics, I think they went a little bit further with it. I think that she was attacked by Sabretooth, raped by Sabretooth, left for dead, and he thought she was dead. And and the difference in the comics, I believe, was that that Sabretooth sensed Wolverine in the area and sensed his powers were like similar to his or whatever, and he did this out of an act of dominance. Uh, so that to some degree they did get this accurate, but but Stryker and them showing up and telling Wolverine that people are getting killed and they don't know who's responsible. Like I said, they had the guy that played Charlie on Lost, the actor that's in here playing that one character. He gets killed by Sabretooth. They don't know who's responsible for it, or so Stryker tells Wolverine. And then you know, Wolverine's had this nice little life, and he gets the name from Silver Fox, the Wolverine name from Silver Fox, because she reads to him like these stories. So he gets the name from her. That's where he does the name from. But she ends up getting killed or fake death. Uh, and Wolverine decides he wants to get at Sabretooth, so he goes into the Weapon X program. It goes well, and they talk about erasing his memory, so he escapes, and then they go after him, and he kills Agent Zero. After Agent Zero pretty dickishly kills this nice couple that was uh, very respectful and helpful to Wolverine. And so we get into Wolverine. He's going up to meet up with the old crew, Blob, and that one dude with a cowboy hat. I can't remember his name exactly. But Blob, things have changed. Blob's got fat. Uh, it's not a really great depiction of the character Blob from the comics. It's an okay one, but not a great one, not a good one. Just barely passable. But he's thrown away immediately. Like in a couple scenes later, it's like, oh, Blob is gone. I dealt with him, or something to that effect. I can't remember his exact words. But Wolverine, he's told to go to Gambit because Sabretooth and Stryker are in league together, and he was manipulated this whole time. thinking that it was just Sabretooth responsible for the murder of Silver Fox, so he signed up for the Weapon X adamantium like program and all that. And he's told to go to Gambit, the only guy that's escaping. And I do not like this version of Gambit at all. Gambit is one of my favorite characters. If you can see there, I've got this Gambit thing on the wall right there. And he's one of my favorite characters from the 90s animated series. I don't like the second voice actor that portrayed him as Louisiana, New Orleans. Well, his New Orleans accent was too thick for me. The first one I really liked. I mean, it'd be hard to cast somebody with a voice like that. But that voice pretty much set the bar for me, and that depiction of Gambit in the animated series set the bar for me. Gambit was one of my favorite characters, is one of my favorite all time favorite characters in comic books. And this version did not live up to it. They have him doing a lot of ridiculous things like Wolverine encounters Sabretooth in the alley, and Gambit interrupts when Wolverine's about to get the upper hand on Sabretooth, and then there's this just ridiculous scene where Gambit's he's using his sticks to climb the walls, and then he's like going up this fire escape, and it's very bad, obvious CGI when Wolverine's just clawing the shit out of that fire escape as it's coming down, like he's just shredding that ladder. It looked bad, really bad. But Gambit pretty much leads Wolverine to where everybody's being held hostage, and then Wolverine finds out that Silver Fox is really alive, which is cool because it's like the comics, except in the comics, Wolverine, Sabretooth. If I remember correctly, Wolverine and Sabretooth and Silver Fox are all part of that one team with Maverick, and but they don't remember each other at all because they were brainwashed. So they don't remember anything. Silver Fox doesn't remember being raped and brutalized by Sabretooth, and Wolverine doesn't remember dating Silver Fox and Sabretooth doing that to her. But here, Silver Fox is revealed to be like trying to save her sister. That's why she's doing this. That's why she manipulated Wolverine and betrayed Wolverine and manipulated his feelings with her powers. She's trying to save her sister, and her sister here is credited as Emma or whatever. But it looks like it's okay. Silver Fox's sister, if I remember correctly in the comics, is not Emma Frost, but that's who it appears they're depicting here on screen is Emma Frost as her sister because she goes all diamond shaped. I forgot to mention that a young Cyclops is in this movie, and there's a thing where Sabretooth goes after him out of school and pretty much abducts him. Now, I don't know what year this is set in, but there could be a continuity error here with Cyclops being in high school in uh, how old he was in the other X-Men movies. I don't know. But, anyways, so Wolverine tries to free all these mutants. He teams up with Silver Fox to try to free all these mutants, having dealt with Sabretooth. He having to fight Sabretooth. He frees all these mutants though. So Cyclops, Emma Frost, and the mutants they go their way and they make their way through. And I like seeing Cyclops again. It was wrong that way the X-Men movies did him. I mean, that was complete garbage. Like they made Wolverine the leader and just made Cyclops like the side character. That what the. Anyways, they do encounter Professor Xavier ultimately in the end, a slightly younger Xavier, but there's probably a large continuity error there too with the way he looks. He's not that old, man. Like in the movies, like there's not a big age difference. It's just slightly de-aged. Uh, but he pretty much gets all those mutants out of there. But Wolverine ends up having to split off from the mutants that he saved because he's got to fight Stitch shut mouth Deadpool, which is completely ridiculous and a waste of Ryan Reynolds. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is perfectly casted for Deadpool and completely underutilized in this film. And they get in this big old fight, and him and Sabretooth team up, which was cool to see him and Sabretooth team up to take on Deadpool. But the Deadpool completely sucked. It was completely ridiculous. Just completely retarded. Uh, like, what the hell were they thinking at all? Anyways, they Wolverine decapitates Deadpool, and him and Sabretooth split up, and then Gambit saves Wolverine when Wolverine's about to be crushed, and then Wolverine tries to save Silver Fox. He tells Gambit to go off save the mutants. The mutants are fine. Wolverine gets a bullet in the head from Stryker, who's got adamantium bullets, and this is how Wolverine forgets everything that comes up later in the first X-Men movie. Um, but they never said why Sabretooth never said nothing to Wolverine in that first X-Men movie. There's nothing happens to Sabretooth to make him forget all about this. Although I guess they did have him take his dog tags, but nothing was. It's just and in the end, Silver Fox tells Stryker to walk off, walk until his feet bleed, and in the end credits, like he gets picked up by a military truck saying he's being investigated for the death of another officer or something. And all the final scene in the end credits is Deadpool picking up his own head and saying "shh," which just dumb. When Wolverine first encounters Sabretooth for the first time after abandoning that whole team and Silver Fox getting killed, him and Sabretooth have a fight, but it's not too great. It's not the type of fights you got like in the X-Men animated series, these epic iconic fights, every encounter between him and Sabretooth. Sabretooth would say these really savage things, and Wolverine would bounce back with these really savage things, and I just didn't get what I wanted out of this. I like the actor that plays Sabretooth, and he does a way better job than before, but what's the point of all this anyway? They forget all about Sabretooth after that first X-Men film anyway, and after this film, so nothing ever comes up again with Sabretooth. Uh, yeah, this movie was bad for me. Deadpool was garbage. Uh, they retconned Wolverine's story to have him and Sabretooth be brothers. It wasn't too bad. They did cleverly get him into the Weapon X program through manipulation and stuff. But I would have preferred to see something, along the lines of a first Wolverine movie. Have him be before he's got his adamantium claws and he's working with like Maverick, Silver Fox, and Sabretooth. And then they encounter like Omega Red, and then Sabretooth just goes batshit crazy and runs off screaming, abandons the team, and just goes savage in the woods. And Wolverine gets his adamantium claws and just turns into a complete savage and does the same. I don't know. I would have just handled this differently. The Gambit sucks. The Deadpool sucks. The Blob sucks. The Sabretooth is better than the one they had in X Men, but it's still not an accurate depiction of the level of threat and psycho he is. And the Silver Fox could have been, a better cast and a more obvious like Native American portraying her. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I'd give this movie a 1 out of 10. So, like, subscribe, comment, tell me your least favorite moments, your most favorite moments. Um, and, you know, ring that bell for notifications. Anyways, like I said, 1 out of 10. Stay awesome, rock on.